Holy shit.
Je sais que c'est très inhabituel, mais ta mère était pas folle, Jeanne.
So Austendies is a Canadian mystery thriller, but also a war film that's written and co-directed by Denis Villeneuve, who is my favorite director working today. And in Austendies, we follow twins Jean and Simon, who after their mother's death, they are given two letters. One of them to go to their brother, to whom they never knew of his existence, and the other to their father, to whom they thought was dead. Alrighty guys, so let's get into Austendies. The first time I had heard about Austendies was back in 2011 when the film was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film, and then after that, it just dropped off my radar. But then 2 years later, a film named Prisoners, which by the way, if you have not seen Prisoners, please watch that film. It is riveting from start to finish. But anyways, after Prisoners, Denis Villeneuve is a director who I've kept my eyes on. Then I saw Sicario, Enemy, Arrival, then Blade Runner 2049, to which you guys know is one of my favorite movies. So after I'd heard that this one was made by Denis Villeneuve, I knew I had to see this immediately. And then finally, a couple of days ago, I finally saw this film, and guys, man, this movie, wow. Starting off with the performances, everyone here does a phenomenal job in all the roles. Now, I'm not even going to try and pronounce the actors' names because I know if I did, I'd be butchering everyone's names. But just know the people who play the roles of Noel, Jean, and Simon, these three in particular do so good in this movie. But if you were to ask me, the real stars of this movie are the actors who play Noel and Jean. Now don't get me wrong, the actor who plays Simon does a great job, even though he doesn't have the most screen time, though he does have some hard-hitting moments. But easily the two stand-up performances, like I mentioned before, are the actors who play Jean and Noel. Noel in particular, I mean, oh my god. The journey that Noel's character goes through in Austendies is something that throughout will constantly have you biting your nails or having you gasping, and then at one certain point it will break your heart, to say the least. I'm thinking about one, it's making me getting emotional right now because I'm telling you guys, the ending particularly, don't worry, I'll get into the ending in a little bit. It's not just about the journey though, but the actress who plays Noel gives such a riveting performance that will have you just on the edge of your seat from start to finish. And it's a performance that by the end will have you heartbroken, especially after you see what she goes through. I mean, dear God. In terms of the plot of Austendies, I'd rather be as vague as possible because before seeing this film, I'd only known three things. One of them being that Denis Villeneuve had directed it, the other being that it was nominated for Best Foreign Language Film, and the other being that when it came to the actual synopsis was that it followed a pair of twins who had to deliver letters to their brother who they didn't know existed, and the other was their father, like I mentioned before, that they thought was originally dead. And because of that, like I mentioned before, I'm going to be as vague as possible. When it comes to the narrative structure of this film, it jumps between two timelines, one of them being revolving the two twins who are trying to deliver the letters to their brother and father, and the other being of the mother when she was younger going through her journey. And something that I particularly loved about the narrative structure of Austendies is how the two timelines have their different genres. Now remember when I mentioned to you guys earlier that Austendies is a thriller, mystery, and at times a war film? This is a movie that in terms of the two narrative timelines, when it comes to the mother's side, her side is more of a thriller with some war elements, but then when it goes to the present timeline of the two twins, that's when the elements of a mystery and at times I would say of a drama come in. And how Denis Villeneuve is able to navigate between these two timelines is quite excellent, but then when you see them finally intertwined by the third act, the brilliance shows, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, by the end, my jaw dropped. One thing that I absolutely love about how Denis Villeneuve directs this film is from how in the opening frame, like in the opening frame alone, of how he is able to get you suckered in into the final frame into which you are just absorbed into his narrative. From the moment that Austendies starts till the ending of this film, there are times when this film will have you biting your nails to the edge of your seats. There are times where this movie will give you chills, and there were times where, I'm not gonna lie, for me personally, there were 2 or 3 times in this movie where I did shed a couple of tears because this film just broke me, but really in the best ways possible. And then once again to the ending of Asandi, this is an ending that it's one of the most heartbreaking endings I've ever seen. And like I mentioned before to you guys, I saw Asandi a couple of days ago, and I have not gotten this movie out of my head. In fact, I kind of want to see it again. And another thing that I gotta praise about Asandi is that this film is gorgeously shot. And it's not just how the shots are framed, but there are also some really amazing shots in which you see how they're focused, and there are also some just brilliant tracking shots that harken back to Kubrick. As far as my issues with Asandi go, I can only think of two. The first being with the film's pacing. Now, Asandi is a film that runs over 2 hours, to be specific, 2 hours and 10 minutes. Now, if you guys have seen Denis Villeneuve's films after Asandi, will know that when it comes to the pacing of Denis' films, he goes for a more methodical style of pacing where it's a very slow burn, but by the end, the payoff, if you ask me, is amazing by the end. And don't get me wrong, guys, while I did think that the payoff in Asandi was amazing, I can't deny that I would say in the first probably 20 minutes, it felt a little long. And the other thing is that when it comes to the narrative, sometimes when it jumps back and forth between the timelines and the mother to the twins, it feels like it can get a little confusing at first. So overall, even though it does feel a little long and it can be a bit confusing at first, Asandi nonetheless is absolutely terrific, and it's a film that by the end will break your heart. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, by the end of Asandi, I was absolutely devastated, but at the same time this movie is beautifully directed, written, the performances are phenomenal, the cinematography is absolutely gorgeous, but all in all, I loved Asandi, and I'm going to give Asandi a 4.75 out of 5 stars. Watch Asandi, especially if you're a Denis Villeneuve fan, and even more so if you want a great, riveting drama that by the end will most likely leave you in a million pieces. Alrighty guys, so comment down and let me know below. Have you guys seen Asandi? What did you all think? Did you guys love it? Did you dislike it even? Let me know below. If you guys would like to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. I'm also on Snapchat and Stardust, so if you guys want to follow me on all those social media platforms, all the links and the usernames are in the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Asandi. If so, please hit that like button, also subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell whenever a new video of mine goes live. If you guys like to see any of my previous 2 videos or reviews, please click either right there or there. And of course, until my next review or video, I will see you all next time.